Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. I'm sorry I'm late. It wasn't my fault. My guest pulled one of those things where I'm in traffic or some shit like that. Go figure. We're in Los Angeles. Is there traffic? You know, funny that now that I think about it, before we get into this, they're saying so many people are leaving Los Angeles because of the pandemic and the crime and the crazy shit. And then you feel like going, well, when are they going to leave? Because there's still traffic all the time. Anyway, I'm happy to be here in Los Angeles tonight at my place in North Hollywood, California, with my great guest, who I couldn't wait to have on the show because we've been talking about having you here for, I guess, a year now.
Yeah, you've been all over the world.
Yeah, but I haven't had time to come and make this happen. But this is Leo. And I'm going to say your last name wrong and your first name incorrectly, too. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what your real name is, the whole thing.
It's Leandro Fabian Dottavio Martinez.
Holy shit. I didn't even know there was a Martinez.
Yeah, my mom, Colombian and Italian. She's both my parents are part Italian. But of course, you know, once your last name's Italian, you're Italian.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter really where you're from. And so sure enough, my ancestors are from Milano, Italy, up north. But yeah, I was on The Bachelor. My name is Leandro Dottavio, or Leo. I go by Leo Dottavio in like the press and stuff. And I was on The Bachelorette a couple years ago. But now I've been doing comedy for a while. I did
we're going to get into all of that, man. Right now, I want to break this down about the name because I always thought your name was Leonardo.
Mm-hmm.
That's the typical, let's say, Italian name, Leonardo.
Right.
And they cut that down and it's Leo.
Mm-hmm.
But you say
Leandro.
Yes. How'd that happen?
It's a very typical Argentinian.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
It's Argentinian.
It's Argentinian. Now, but of course, 40% of Argentina is Italian. So basically, my grandfather on my dad's side was from Milano, Italy. So he immigrated during the World War II. He immigrated from Italy to Argentina, where my dad was born. And when my dad was 7 years old, he went to New York City with my grandfather, and that's where he was raised in Astoria, New York, and basically grew up with Italians, going on the Feast of San Gennaro. Stuff like that. So I used to go to the one that was out here, of course, but that Leandro was kind of like a mix of an Italian and an Argentinian name. It's very popular for the Italian Argentinians.
I think it's great. It makes you stand out and special, Leon. I almost feel like I can't say it because I'm so geared to say Leonardo.
Yeah, no, it's
Leandro.
There's a city in by Oakland, San Leandro. It's got like 1 million people in California. But yeah, Leandro. Let's see if you'd say. But yeah, that's my real name. But I go by Leo because I got that, playing sports and stuff. They give you a nickname.
No, I would keep it the whole name. If I were you, I'd say the whole name.
You're right, man. I should keep it Leandro Dottavio.
Take your time. Milk that shit because
yeah.
Not everybody has that name, especially here in Los Angeles. He doesn't look like a Los Angelino to me, especially when us New Jersey, New York people come over here. We look at him and like, well, he must be from the city. And he's not. So that's great. And how do you say your last name?
Dottavio.
Dottavio.
Yeah.
Dottavio.
Yeah. Real Italian.
There are a lot of Italians in Argentina. Yeah. I know in my family history, that's one of the reasons why back in the day our family lost touch with everybody because the people who came to the United States lost touch with the people who went to Argentina, and then the people who went to Toronto, Canada. Everybody just dispersed and nobody knew where anybody was. Yeah. Because there was no such thing as social media, right. And a way to get in touch with somebody unless you came to these days and you do Ancestry.com. And that's where I started finding family on my mother's side that went to Argentina.
Of course.
And then you start finding out that you got cousins and cousins and aunts and uncles that you had no idea were even alive.
Yeah.
And you wish you got to know them. And
well,
you kind of can't.
It's a shame. Social media today, there's definitely some negative stuff, but that's a great stuff. For the Italians, I mean, God damn it. I only got my immediate family out here, which is kind of sad. But my sisters, I have 2 sisters, myself. We got to have more kids because I want a big Italian family. If I don't, it's going to suck if it's not like a big family.
It's funny you say that. I mean, I have no kids, so I don't know who's going to carry on the Marino tradition.
Yeah, we're the same.
Because I have a brother who has two daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually their name is going to change from Marino,
Yeah.
unless they keep it and insist, which would be good for the uncles.
Mm.
And my older brother, he has no kids either, so this is it.
Shit.
I'm gonna have to adopt some kids and say, look, just go be an actor.
Wait, Marino ends with you and Dottavio ends with me if we don't have kids? If we don't have sons?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
We need to figure this out, Mike.
We're gonna have to kidnap some people.
Yeah, exactly. Make this happen.
So where were you born?
I was born in Los Angeles, Cedars-Sinai.
So see,
Right
that's
there.
so wild because I remember when I first came to California. I'm going back and forth. It's 30 years now. That's why I have this place so long, and this is a great area. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
But I never met anybody from Los Angeles. Everybody that I met was from someplace else.
And
And I don't mean just New York, New Jersey. I mean all around the world.
right.
And now all of a sudden I'm meeting somebody who I think, wow, man, he's definitely got to be from the city. He's like, no, I'm from here. What? Because,
Yeah.
the misconception is everybody that we're going to meet in Los Angeles is from Malibu,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to have blonde hair, and they're going to go surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a Californian.
Oh yeah. That's how the movies made it seem like that. But yeah, I was born in Studio City, maybe 10 minutes from here, in the valley. That is made popular by a lot, like the Valley Girl movie and all that, and like in Karate Kid takes place in the valley and stuff. So I liked it because it was kind of like a slower paced version of downtown LA or Hollywood and stuff like that, and a good place to grow up. Played a lot of baseball. Played baseball growing up. It's a great center for like developing a lot of major leaguers and a lot of talent from this area. But yeah, it was great, man. I'm from LA. I can tell you anything you want to know, man. Just ask.
Oh, we're going to ask these questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's funny that, this whole stereotypical thing about what an LA person's supposed to look like, he is the complete opposite, yet he is the real deal. And I like Studio City.
Yeah,
I've always been in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was coming here from New Jersey, everybody was saying the actors live in North Hollywood and you pursue your career in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like it would be Hoboken on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you live and you pursue your career in Manhattan,
Mhm.
which is a subway ride away.
Mm-hmm.
Because you couldn't afford to live in Manhattan, but you could afford to live on the Jersey side. It's not that way anymore. Now you got to be rich no matter where you live.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's Hoboken like now? It's probably so expensive.
It's very expensive. It's like a small city, and it's gorgeous. Now, you said you spent time there?
Yeah, New York. Oh yeah, I would go every single summer for since I can remember. So I would always go, spend some winters there too. Didn't like that. Being a Californian man, I mean, you get accustomed to the 70 degrees. I was frozen in New York around Christmas time. But yeah, been there many times. I love Astoria, honestly. I think New York's got cooler stuff like the cigar lounges. The city has so much like the grit and like it's special.
Yeah.
You take energy from that city and it's amazing. But I don't know if I could live there, man. It's so noisy. I love Manhattan probably the most, though. I think Manhattan's incredible. I think the women in New York are beautiful. They're all walkers, They're
Well,
really
you kind of
slim.
have to be.
Yeah,
Now,
you gotta
nowadays,
be, yeah.
going down in the subway is dangerous. Taking a cab will
Yep.
cost you a fortune. If you take
Mhm.
an Uber in Manhattan, you're taking your life into your hands.
Yeah, man.
So, I mean, when I was cutting my teeth as an actor in New York, around
Mhm.
16, 17 years old, I knew the subway system like the back of my hand. And I knew how to jump over a turnstile and not pay and cruise. And now I would never go down to the subway. I'd be petrified.
Mhm.
And I always thought that I was really good at it too. I'm like, oh, there's the double R. Let's go. I'm late.
Mhm.
Now forget it. I ain't going anywhere near there. It's too much crime.
Yeah,
Too
New
many
York is
people
crazy.
getting pushed on the tracks.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would remember.
Right.
I remember when I came to California, the first thing I was taught was get a Thomas guide, which was
Yeah.
that big book you
My
used to
dad had
open
one.
while you were driving, and
Yeah.
it taught you how to get around and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Now, of course, everything is done in the phone, like this interview.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're growing up here in California, but this is the Valley,
Yeah.
which is a lot different than California because
Yeah.
to me, California is Ventura, San Diego,
Mhm.
maybe San Francisco. This was always Los Angeles, and I was here because of the career, not because I wanted to be.
Mhm.
A lot of my friends from back east who are not in show business, who moved to California, they went to San Diego, La Jolla, places like that where the East Coast people would watch television, and that's when you thought, oh, look, everybody goes surfing, which I wish I could do.
I mean, I've never tried it.
That's wild.
Never tried
As a
it.
California guy, doesn't even surf.
I mean, I go swim in the ocean, dive under the waves a couple times. It gets, you get sand all over the place. You do it once, it's cool.
Oh, he definitely looks like a beach guy.
Yeah, I like pools. Pools are cool. Lay out by the pool, go in the pool, do a couple laps. That's, more my thing. But now, most people that live here end up not going to the beach that often because it's something that you are like, that's where everybody that goes that is an out of towner and they're going to be annoying. All the tourists, we'll see all the tourists and lost people.
Well, I have some friends that live up in the Pacific Palisades and they live in Malibu, and those beaches really are gorgeous.
You got to see. Okay, go further south to Laguna. Laguna Beach has probably the nicest beach in the United States.
Right.
If you want to see a beach, it's crystal clear blue water in between like rock formations. It looks like the south of France. We can check out some pictures, but it's called Three Arches Beach. I think it's a private beach. You can get in there. But she was shaking her head. But yeah, it's incredible. You gotta go.
I might have to visit that.
They got a big Italian population down there, or like a good little community of Italians down there by Laguna.
Well, speaking of the Italian family, so your family's from Naples, Italy?
Milano.
Milan. And so how many brothers and sisters you have here in Los Angeles?
I got two sisters, and they're both not married in their 30s. So if any Italian guys out there, they're looking for girls, hey, they're both very beautiful. All right? They might be a little crazy, but what do you want? They're Italian. You know what I mean?
You got to pick your fights.
You got to pick your fights. Beautiful, they're crazy, but they are really nice girls, and they can cook. I know that's important. But yeah, if you're looking for something, send me a message. Maybe we could get something going. Then in their 30s, they gotta have grandkids soon.
And where are you in the food chain?
I'm in the middle. So I got an older sister. I got an older sister. I'm 35. I got an older sister. She looks very young and she's in great shape. So I'm sure she's got time. But yeah, she's got to find a husband quick. And then the younger sister's 32, and
There's no hurry, man.
Yeah.
There's no hurry.
They better hurry up. Well, they got, a little bit.
Do they all live with mom or you?
No, one lives with mom and the other one lives on her own.
Is your mother here in Studio City?
Yeah, she's living with my father. They're still together.
That's fantastic. And I guess you don't live with them.
No.
Shame on you. If I was 35, I'd live with my mother. In fact, if my mother was around today, I'd live with my mother. Get me out of here. I can't stand living on my own.
How do you bring chicks over to the basement?
You just say, come on over and use the back door.
All right. As long as you could do that. As long as if I had a basement and I could bring chicks over, if it was just my mother, probably better. But my pops would come down and be like, get a job, you bum.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd say that, but get a job.
You can say whatever you want.
All right, cool. But get a fucking job, you bum. But my mom would just be like, do you want something? You want something to eat? You know how it is.
Yeah. Where I am in my world these days, if I was at my house and my mother was alive and she was at the house and she offered my date something to eat, I'd be like, yes, Mom, we both would like to have food. Please go in the kitchen and start cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if I was in my 30s and my mother was around and she said, does your date want something to eat? I'm like, Mom, would you get out of here?
No, exactly.
But now it's a whole different ballgame. We're like, yes, we're very hungry. Cook.
Let's hang out.
Either that or I would do the cooking. And we got some food that we're going to eat here today.
I was going to say, my mom does make a great sausage sandwich.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah, real Italian.
Well, you're going to be disappointed. So nice Italian family here in Studio City, California. Well, why don't we go in and talk about your career as a ball player? Because I noticed you noticed the Flatbush poster as soon as you walked into my house. Yeah. Let's do this real quick. Our producer Tatiana came by today to help us make tonight's podcast successful. And I think you would like some more coffee.
I'd love some more coffee.
I can't really walk away, but
so much.
We're going to ask Tatiana Blue Shell, who produces this show every Tuesday night, normally at 8 o'clock when we're on the East Coast, at 5 o'clock here on the West Coast. Make sure that this all happens just right.
Does she do it? Should she do it remotely when you're on the East Coast?
Yeah, we talk over the phone and then blah, blah, blah. And
thank you so much.
Away we go. We were making some coffee tonight.
Yeah, God, I love coffee.
And Tatiana and Leo are having their coffee black. Now, that's not something that I would do. I have to have vanilla nut creamer and sugar. because I like it sweet. But I guess to have a healthy coffee would be to just drink it black.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. It's like one of those things you chip away at it. One day, the first day, it's gonna taste like shit. I understand that, but then the second day, you're like, whatever. And the third day, you're depressed anyway, so you drink it black and it tastes like shit. But you're like, fuck it. But then by the fifth and sixth day, you're like, I kind of like it now. It's like jet fuel. I think of it as just literally unleaded gasoline going into my system.
I don't know about so many different ethnic groups when it comes to coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up Italian, we had espresso.
Yeah, espresso. My dad used to do it after dinner.
Yes.
Right. Sam?
Right after dinner. I could have
That's
a cup
kinda
of
crazy.
coffee before I go to bed. I could have a cappuccino before I go to bed. Cappuccino
Same.
actually puts me to sleep.
It's
I
weird.
sleep
Yeah.
to it. It's warm. It's comforting. It makes me think,
Mhm.
and then I go right to sleep.
God, that's
Espresso.
so funny. Yeah. Sam.
We would have with a piece of lemon, and of course, we have some snacks coming in.
Oh, there we go.
What did I put in my espresso? Oh, anisette, or
What?
Zambuca.
Yeah.
Did you put that in there?
Nah, we
No.
do sometimes the lemon peel, a little bit of that.
The lemon peel, you rub it
Mhm.
around the top of
Yeah,
your
the top.
espresso. It's fantastic.
It is.
But the shot of anisette, the shot of Zambuca,
Yeah, well,
and then
yeah.
a cigar.
A cigar, of course.
I'm not really a cigar guy. I think you're a cigar guy.
Yeah, no, I'm a big cigar guy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, man, I got a good spot in on Melrose called V Cut. Solid.
V cut.
V Cut. Yeah, I saw Denzel there. I saw Bill Burr comes in there every Saturday.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go there. I
It's a
never
good
was
place.
really a cigar guy. However, recently because of touring, you get all these cigar aficionados come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, could you come by the cigar bar? Can you
Yeah.
sit down? Can you hang out? You sign some autographs? You want to do a show? Can you tell a couple of jokes?" And before you know it, you got a boatload of free cigars, which
Mhm.
is okay because I would give them to somebody like
Yeah,
you,
I
or I
will.
give them to somebody else. What's really great is sometimes now I get to go to these cigar bars, and for some reason or other, there's somebody in there with a shitload of marijuana, and say,
Mhm.
"Well, if you don't like the cigar, would you like some of these gummies?"
You'll say, yeah. You'll say, yeah.
Yes, I am, especially before I have my cappuccino and my sandwich.
Exactly.
So when you came over to the house tonight, I
Yeah.
have a poster up there. It's Flatbush, and it
Mhm.
says "Them Bums,"
Yep.
which is a replica of Emmett's Field in
Mhm.
Brooklyn. That was given to me by the guy who painted that.
Ah,
So that's actually a limited edition painting, and the guy, if you can see to the left, he autographed it.
that's cool.
And I think that happened after a show, I'm going to say almost 25 years ago.
Mhm.
And there's just a few of them, and I'm lucky enough to have it. And yeah, that's the history of Emmett's Field. Ooh, my camera fell. So tell us about your baseball career.
I mean, I was a really good college baseball player, and I played a little
Where'd you
bit.
go to school?
I went to UCLA out of high school. Played there 1 year. It was one of the best recruiting classes ever, and they were phenomenal. I was gonna ride the bench, but I made the team, so I decided to get out of there. So I went to a Division II called Cal
Wait a
State.
minute.
Stanislaus.
What does that actually mean? You're going to ride the bench?
Well, they would have, like, there were guys on that team. They were so deep. They were just good, talented people that you might just only hit like 5 times the whole year,
Right.
or like 20 times. But like, the starters are getting like 200 at bats. You'd be getting like maybe 10 times up. So they were just so good, and they were. And I went in with being recruited by one coach, and when I made the team, he was fired. So this new guy came in with his guys, and it was Gary Adams, and then Savage came into play, which his name was Coach Savage. He took over, and he was a pitching coach, and I was kind of like a big hitter that was like average defensively, but I had a good arm. And I probably, if I would have focused on defense more, I would have had a chance to play more at UCLA for sure. But I didn't have a really good position, and I was just I would hit some massive home runs in batting practice though. Put on a show, but yeah.
So what was your position on the field then?
I would play I would play right field and first base mostly. But then I went to a junior college for a couple of years, and then I went to a Division II because my goal was also just not to pay for school. So I had some I had some offers from some D1s out of state. But if you know anything about colleges, out of state tuition is like 3 times the regular tuition. So like I had a 50% scholarship to UNLV, but it was still like $15,000 a semester. Same thing at a school in Texas, but I ended up going to a Division II up north in my own state in California. That was a very competitive league. In fact, we played some Division I's and defeated, and we beat Pacifica University, who was a Division I. But we played, and I did really well, and I ended up doing, I didn't get drafted to the major leagues, but I played 1 year professional, it's called independent ball, with this team called the Pasadena Redbirds. And, we would play teams like all-star teams from like Korea or like other international teams that would come into town. And we'd also go up north and play like some other semi-pro teams, as they call it. So.
Well, were you serious about being in the major leagues? Did you really want to do it?
That's all I wanted to do. Yeah, and I was, I was a big guy. I could hit the ball unbelievably hard. Now I just hit fucking softballs like out of sight, and that's kind of my thing. I just hit some absolute bombs in softball, and that's how I get my aggression out and escape.
So were you like sought after by some teams? Or
yeah, it was
whatever they call it. You was a free agent.
Yeah.
Or,
there was some teams. The Pittsburgh Pirates made me fill out a scout card, which meant like they were interested in maybe drafting me, and so did the Cincinnati Reds. But there was also some interest from the Dodgers, the hometown team, but they invited me to a workout at the stadium actually. But then there was a fucking Bruce Springsteen came into town and ended up getting that date, and they canceled that workout. I always think about that sometimes, but I kept the letter, so Bruce Springsteen.
Couldn't they have done it again?
They could have done it again, but they didn't do it again because I guess that stadium is just like it's almost booked like a year in advance, So
right.
They couldn't they canceled it for that year. It didn't have until the next year.
See, I've been in show business my whole life. I don't even know what it would be like to pursue any other career. So I don't even know what it would like to pursue sports. I mean, I've seen you on the internet beat the shit out of the baseball.
Hell yeah.
And I see what you do. I've seen your videos, and I'm like, man, I figured this guy would just be a pro tomorrow.
It's so hard, man.
It's like that many people.
Yeah, well, you got to think like this, like 35% of the league is Dominican now. And there's only 700 major leaguers, and 35% of those are Dominicans because they're that good. And then there's the Japanese are getting really good. So there's a bunch of them. And then there's Venezuelans and all kinds of guys. So like we're talking about maybe 400 or 500 spots for Americans. 400 Americans get to make a living playing in the major leagues. Of course, there's the minor leagues and all that. But, I ended up getting into acting, and then everything that has happened in my life, the good and the bad, has led me to a decent place. But baseball was always in my pocket, and it did help me a lot in life because within the first the first week that I was working in the real world, I had got an agent for commercials, and I landed a Mercedes baseball commercial where I had to like slide into second base, and it was like a baseball stunt, and it put like $25,000 in my pocket right at the beginning of my career, and it was like a nice start. And that was baseball. I feel like that was baseball's gift to me. It's like because all I did from age 5 to 23 was hit baseballs,
Right.
I just 500 swings a day I'd take.
Well, if you look at Leo's social media, you'll see some really cool videos of him whacking the shit out of a baseball. And I think I saw you on the internet and I saw you with the baseball. I'm saying to myself, man, I got to have this guy in my web series because what we talk about is whacking people with a baseball bat. And this guy could whack the shit out of a baseball. I figured, this makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
So you transition from baseball and you pursue the acting.
Yeah.
And so tell us about this cross between the acting career, becoming on The Bachelor,
right.
Which I've seen one episode I couldn't keep on watching. It's not my thing.
It's not my thing either, to be honest. It's got its audience, a big audience. It's like a soap opera.
It's got a huge audience.
A huge audience. Yeah.
This is like one of the biggest. Is it considered a reality show?
It's a reality show.
The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Exactly. So I was on The Bachelorette. I was number 5 of 30 guys trying to get to the top. I missed out right before hometowns. But my parents, they said they didn't even, because ABC calls your parents to let them know, like, hey, do you want to do, if your son has to come over and film. Is it okay if we film at your house and stuff like that? And I don't think my pops wanted. He's Italian. He was like, yeah, I don't know.
That would be hilarious.
It would have been hilarious.
You'd have got your own spin-off.
Exactly.
The Bachelorette.
But so then I was eliminated fifth because if you get into top 4, then you go to hometown. So I did pretty well. But then I'm considered one of the greatest villains because in Bachelor in Paradise, which was the spin-off, I threw a drink on a guy and I got drunk in Mexico and made a scene, like an Italian would, you know what I mean? And I did some Italian stuff, and then everybody hated me forever. But that's what helped me become a comedian because I was like, yeah, we're castaways of society, you know what I mean? So I got into comedy, and then I'm making a living doing the comedy, which is great.
But on The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, were you serious about trying to find love, or was the whole thing like a big gimmick? And are you even allowed to talk about what happened?
Maybe not. But no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man, I was 32. I'll say it this way. I was 32 years old and I was single. Yeah, why not? Maybe if she's a great girl, I will marry her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, sure. Am I looking for love? Sure. Who's not looking for love? Mike, are you looking for love?
Yes, every day I'm looking for love. I got sandwiches in front of me. I can't wait to love them.
Let's love them right now.
But we're gonna wait because I gotta really know about this Bachelor thing.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because it looks like it's a put on, but then you wonder maybe somebody really is looking to match up. Did anybody ever take it to the next level?
There's sure. Like in the history of the show, there's maybe 2 married couples, 3. I mean, there's a bunch of people that get married, but that stay together. You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of them get together after the show. It's traumatic. It's a lot of work. They put you through the ringer. Like they basically put like these kind of lights in your bedroom, and you're sleeping with like like I would say the bedroom was no bigger than this and that. And you're sleeping with like 6 dudes. So they make it hard for you to sleep. And they put out these lights go on at 8 a.m. and they go off at 4 a.m. So they know their sleep deprivation is part of the process. So they can control you, and you're doing those confessional things, Well, anyway, point of the story is they know what they're doing. They sleep deprive you, and then they can they know that you're going to make an emotional decision. But yeah, it's still there's a lot of real stuff in it, plenty of real stuff.
Did you stay in touch with anybody? Did you end
up
dating some of the girls anyway?
I made out with a couple of the girls, but I didn't on the show. But I didn't. I came in like a real like heavy ladies man, and everybody just thought like, what a douchebag.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I made out with a couple girls on the first night, and they were like, "Who do you think you are? Like, get out of here."
You said like I'm fucking Leo, man.
Yeah. Fuck you. What you would do the same thing.
I drink my coffee black. Excuse me.
Exactly.
Hey, did you see the hair? Did you see the hair? Grab onto this shit.
But the show is mostly like women, that are married and stuff that they want to see like love, and then when a guy like that comes in, it might trigger their old memories of a bad boyfriend, and so I was hated. And so I was hated by the men, hated by the women, loved by the men that watch the show, and those are the fans that I guess I still have in comedy. But that's it.
Where can anybody even see these episodes anymore?
You can look
is it replayable?
Yeah, I think they're on Netflix. You can just look up Bachelorette season 14.
I gotta go looking for this myself.
There's some of the stuff on YouTube too. If you look up like Leo Dottavio's worst moments or best moments, whatever, or the one-on-one date. The one-on-one date was pretty cool on the Bachelorette. They like flew me a little plane from like Virginia to New Hampshire. We went like oyster shucking, and then they filled up a whole a whole theater with people, like 3,000 people, and they had me on stage with like a country music guy. It was pretty cool. They roll out the red carpet.
Is it actually considered an acting role?
Nah,
or it's a game show.
I mean, it's on my IMDb, but it's more, which means I guess they would say that, but no. I mean, it's reality TV is just like you going in there,
Yeah. Well, hey, we have to check this out, folks. Go take a look at Leo on The Bachelor. The Italian stallion.
Yeah. I represent the Italians well on that show.
Good.
I'll tell you that much.
I like that. Baby, you want to get together? No, good. Neither did I.
And neither did I, exactly.
So then you rolled out into stand-up from that? Or
no, I had been doing stand-up before that. I kind of used a stand-up always as an exercise to make me relax in the audition room more because it's so hard. So I was like, if I could do this, and I did a lot of theater. So it was kind of an easier transition. I got on stage and it wasn't the worst thing ever. I could figure out how to try to be kind of funny, have a little comedic timing. I still don't write that. I kind of write on stage and I'm figuring out where and how to write because, it's an interesting hard thing to do. But so I had been doing it for maybe like a year and a half before The Bachelor. And then when I came off The Bachelor, I've been doing it since. So it's been almost like 4 or 5 years I've been doing it. But that's like nothing in stand-up, you know. And I don't get up that often because I don't hang out at the clubs enough and stuff like that. But yeah, I probably get up 4 times a month. You probably get up
Hanging
4
out
times
at the
a
clubs
week.
is a pain in the ass.
It is.
But that's the way you cut your mustard.
You got to do it.
You got to go every
so
night. You got to be around it, hang around it.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I write live.
Mm-hmm.
I was never the type of guy who took out a book and said I could try this, I could try that. I go on stage. I bring out a topic. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then I'll write down the subject matter and I'll stay on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever. But I mean, I'm doing stand-up 30 years now,
You've
so
been killing it.
a lot of times when I go on stage, I just will make fun of what I see in the last hour of my life and then talk about it when I get on stage.
Right.
But your situation of being on The Bachelor
Mm-hmm.
and your situation of being from a baseball background and you looking like this nice Italian fella from California, that actually to me is a premise that you could build off of.
All right, I like that.
And that's, I mean, because the truth is always funny.
The truth is,
You talk about your sisters and they're not married and they have to hurry. You're looking at comedy. You talk about how you go with a baseball bat and you just said you're in the mob as far as I'm concerned. That's hilarious.
I like that. Yeah.
And that's and it's almost a great segue into what I'm going to want to do now because for years, people always said the best food is from New York and New Jersey. And then when I started to find some of these great Italian delis here in Los Angeles, I kind of blew that for everybody and I found real authentic Italian food. So I went to an Italian restaurant this afternoon that because I couldn't go down to my favorite place, Foggia Italian Market and Deli in Lakewood, California. So I went to this local place and I wanted to do this little thing between a meatball sub sandwich and a sausage sub sandwich because Italian people tend to argue over what sandwich would be better.
Yeah.
So I got them both. They're in front of me. They might be a little warm, but we're going to try them and we're going to see which one he likes better, a meatball or a sausage, and the same for me. So
let's do it.
There you go. I think this is meatball,
This is
and
the sausage.
that's sausage.
So I'll try sausage.
I think
first.
it's regular sausage because there is sweet. I don't know how this guy didn't win on The Bachelor. Look at him, the Italian guy. He's got a shirt that suggests, I don't know, lions. He's good with a baseball bat, and he's trying to marry off his sisters.
I am trying to marry off my sister.
And now I'm gonna make him talk while he's eating. All right, so I like meatball. I'm good with this.
I like sausage, man. This is pretty good sausage.
Is it?
Yeah, it's good sausage. Absolutely.
Some sausage sandwiches will have peppers and onions. This one actually has peppers and onions and what California people would say sauce. I would say gravy. Now we're going to start another argument. He laughed.
Sauce.
You see him laugh?
I've never even heard someone call it. You would call it red sauce?
There comes another episode. Yeah. Didn't you ever hear that argument?
I've heard that argument.
Yeah, of course. What do you say? Sauce?
Sauce.
Of course you do. Because you're from the Mediterranean.
It's true.
All right, so
Pretty
how
much.
is that sausage?
I like it. I like it a lot.
So they got peppers and onions and sauce.
The peppers are pretty crunchy too, which I like. I kind of like a little crunch. Not when it's completely soft, you know?
He just turned into a chef. Did you hear him? There's a little crunch. There's a little crunch. You might even notice he put his hair in a bun before he bit that sandwich. That is hilarious.
I wouldn't be able to really do some work on this.
Because he would hate to have the hair just dangle in that sausage.
I wouldn't be able to do some work on this.
Did you hear what I just said? That's actually hilarious.
Funny.
The hair dangling in this
In the
sausage.
sausage.
This is a clean show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
All right, so that's meatball. He had no problem getting rid of that sausage. Damn. I'm having water,
Coffee.
black.
Black coffee, baby.
All right, so if your palate is clean, try the meatball.
All right. You gonna try the sausage?
And I'm going sausage. Let me put my hair in a bun. It's a little tight.
You ever have, what was your hair like when you were like 19, 18?
Like yours. I didn't have curls.
Long hair.
Extremely thick blonde hair. And when I was 19, 20, it was in a ponytail.
Nice.
That was the look. And then something happened. I don't know what happened. You didn't even say anything, man. This guy is hurling these sandwiches.
I'm hungry.
Oh, really?
Always hungry. But
All right, so I'm going with the sausage. That's the meatball.
Why don't you get some hair implants? Fuck it. Change the look. It's like 10 grand. I heard it's not bad. Like what's his name? You know, Steve Carell did.
You did?
He was going completely bald in the first season of The Office. Steve Carell is going completely bald, and he's also part Italian. I'm pretty sure. You can tell by his nose, huh?
Yeah.
But then he got implants, and he says he changed his career in a way. Although I feel like your head's pretty fucking solid, man. It looks like a good you got a good
good cranium.
Look. Yeah, you got a good cranium. So either way, you're good.
I've looked into it a couple times, and recently, an Italian cousin in Toronto, Canada, came to visit me, and he looked completely different. And I'm like, hey, dude, the fuck did you do?
You probably made him feel bad. You see him and you go, what the fuck did you do?
He told me exactly. He leaned in and he goes, I forgot the name of where he went. He went to another Turkey. He went to Turkey. And for $3,000.
That's fucking right. I've heard about the turkey thing. And it's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he showed me before and after pictures and during pictures of this hair transplant that was $3 grand. And they paid for his hotel. All he had to do was get himself there. He has a full head of hair. No scars, nothing.
Do it.
Well.
And do a couple sets at the local comedy club in Turkey.
That's not. Good evening, Turkey. And you know what? I will say this. The sausage is better than the meatball sandwich.
I also do. Yeah. Sausage is better. I'm gonna finish the sausage. But they're good though.
Wow. These are good. Where is your go-to Italian restaurant in California?
Good question.
Your mom's?
Nothing's gonna be mom's and grandma. She makes some cannellonis. Real good.
Your grandmother's alive?
Mm-hmm.
You need to invite me over.
Exactly. You can come over anytime, but go to Italian. It's a good question because there's a couple spots. I like Michelle's in Studio City.
Ventura?
Yeah, that's a good Italian joint. Well, that was like the higher end Italian places like John and Vinny's in Hollywood is fucking pretty. It's hard to beat that place.
I never even heard of it.
It's expensive. Well, hey, you should try John and Vinny's. Really good Italian food.
Sometimes if you go to high-end Italian, you don't get good food.
I see what you're saying. I mean, the pizzas are really thin and they got a good vodka sauce in the and they got a really good like raviolis. They make everything fresh and.
Raviolis is my favorite food of all time. You can't beat a nice ravioli, nice
I like
on
a
Sunday
ravioli
afternoon
with meat sauce.
That I don't like.
Which one? Spanish ravioli?
No, I like cheese ravioli, and that's it. Don't mess with my ravioli.
Well, spinach has cheese in it. It's got the
Never
cheese
really
in it.
liked spinach. I like old school. This sausage is fantastic. It's better than the meatball.
No.
I don't even want the meatball now.
So,
what's in the future for you now? So, I don't remember how we met. I just remember saying to myself, man, that guy would be really great if he would like to participate in the web series that we were doing before the pandemic, which was called Marino 2016, Make America Italian Again. And we were just having some fun. And I say we because the comedians that were in it were on tour. We were all together performing at night anyway. So during the day, we thought, hey, let's make a little videos. Let's make some jokes. And we called upon our friends to say, hey, can you help out? Then the locations, then of course, Tatiana was producing the series and her husband Cody was directing the series. So we went from having some fun to going, hey, wait a minute, this is actually really good. We made a couple of episodes that were dynamite, and then we entered into it was the Garden State Film Festival in New Jersey, and we won Best Script. And I remember saying, I hate to tell you all this, but the script was an improv. It was done from an idea that the pizza guy was coming over to the house, and we were just upset that he knew where the secret location was. And we interrogated him and said, how'd you know where we were? And the character played by Jay Davis, I hope you know Jay Davis, comedian, his response was priceless when he said, the phone guy. And he blamed the phone guy. And he goes, well, I got to bring it. And we had all we could do to not bust out laughing. Yeah. And when everybody was on the same page, and then Cody cut it together, it came out priceless. I always say this, we're funny in the room, but the people behind the scenes, directing and cutting, make it even funnier.
Exactly. The editing is big. Editing is huge. So yeah, I understand that.
Well, we're hoping we're going to get up and running again and start shooting again. And I think it'd be really funny if you play the character that we had in mind. It was that character of the good-looking guy, because you happen to be a good-looking guy, and then we'll challenge that and say, but I think I'm better looking. I hope you had fun when you came down to the Ha-Ha and we did some stand-up.
No, it was a great show, man.
We're going to start running more shows like that, and you're more than welcome to be part of any of that.
I would love to.
You should go out as much as you can and be around it. It sucks from time to time because, like in the baseball field, there's thousands of comedians.
Yeah.
You have to have some kind of a rhythm, some kind of a gimmick, some kind of a reason why people would want to see you more so than the other guy. And that actually can be videos on the internet.
Yes. Which is what I do with so I partnered up with this YouTuber. I met him right after The Bachelorette, and I wasn't doing anything because, and nobody wanted to hire me after The Bachelorette. But then, so I went and started doing these, like,
is that right? Did that really happen?
Yeah, because you can't really, they think it's like the real you. So they were like, oh, he's very toxic, the toxic masculinity stuff. So I wasn't getting acting gigs, that's for sure. But I didn't really care because I thought of it as a long-term thing. So I was like, this is going to help me in comedy. And so that's what I did. I started a podcast with a guy right after that. And we're getting some good listens. I make a living with it, which is cool. But this guy, Danny Mullen, so it's called the Leo and Danny Show. If you guys want to check out that pod. But yeah, we're getting some good amount of listeners. And we got some
the
ads.
Danny Mullen Show?
Well, no, it's the Leo and Danny Show.
Okay.
And it's Danny Mullen's my partner, though. And he does. We do some prank videos online where we do we'll do a lot of improv. Like I act like this Dominican guy, do an Italian character and stuff, and we'll go and we'll prank people in the real world. Obviously, they're public pranks, and they got some decent views. So we capitalize on that and start a podcast. So as far as the future for me, I'd like to be able to continue using stand-up as a kind of a training mechanism to get funnier, not only on the podcast, but in order to get funnier on stage so that I can maybe, because, I can draw maybe like 10, 15 people on a good night nowadays. When I build it up and I can draw more people like you, I can, kind of close, I can headline the show or headline it with my partners, and we could capitalize on the audience, sell some tickets, sell some merchandise, do the whole nine like you do.
You have to. You got to get in the groove like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now that this, hopefully, this pandemic is going to go by the wayside a little bit more, and things will start opening up again, then I want to start bringing my guys back out on tour, and you would have a lot of fun. It's what we do is we try to bond up, have about 4 to 6 guys in the show, all with the same Italian point of view, with that wise guy mentality, but everybody does something different.
Yeah.
Like when we're both friends with Mike Lanoche, and when Mike is on the show, he's silly, and Marco Asante, who's on the show, he's kind of more like says crazy, silly things. Have a guy like you on the show who's going to come up there with a baseball bat. I do whatever it is that I do, and it makes everybody have a good time and you capitalize on more ticket sales.
Of course.
And then, of course, we do have swag. There's no reason why you can't join in on something like that. My shirts say, "Make America Italian again," you know? And when I sell them, people will come up to me and say, you know, I was wearing your shirt the other day and somebody stopped me and said, "Can I take a picture of the shirt?"
Well, yeah.
So that's what you want to keep on doing. I have a funny feeling if you were to replica this shirt, you probably could sell a ton of them.
Yeah, honestly, this is a cool shirt.
The Leo shirt, yeah.
It's just the Leo shirt. That's
The
actually
Leo
not a
shirt.
bad idea.
It comes in 3 sizes.
I like it. I like it. I have my "Make America Italian Again" shirt. I wear it all the time.
We got to get you another one with the new year.
I got a real popular video on my when I did the impression of you. Basically, I just joke with the.
You did it?
Yeah, like maybe a couple of years ago. Remember,
Really?
with the shirt, and I said "Make America Italian Again," and I pointed to it.
Oh man, I got to check that out.
Yeah, it's got a lot of views on my page. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to have to keep on doing some more stuff, and we're going to start making some videos and have a lot of fun. Now, do you have an agent who gets you auditions and stuff like
I got
that?
an agent. Yeah, I'm with Aqua Talent.
All right.
They're solid. They give me some good opportunities. I was in the best thing recently was Pam and Tommy. I had like one line. They cut it, but it was still a funny line. It was still a funny scene, and I had a good airtime, so that was cool. A lot of people recognize me from that.
Did you actually get to meet them?
Seth Rogen's awesome. Yeah, not Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. No, because they weren't on set. It was just the actors. But no, it was Seth Rogen. It was his. He produced it, and I got to hang out with him all day, which was pretty cool.
Oh, no kidding. That's great. Well, tell everybody where we can find you. Are you getting up this week, next week?
I'm getting up today, but it's if you guys are around tonight, yeah, at the Dime in LA. If you're in LA, come out to the Dime. But otherwise, I have a show on May 15th at the Haha that I'll be running. I think 9 p.m. And come out to that. If you follow me on Instagram at LEOFDOT, Leo F. Dot, like Leandro Fabian Dottavio. So Leo LEOFDOT. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll post all the stuff on my story and on my page, and you could come and see me live. But also check out my podcast, The Leo and Danny Show. Hell yeah, Mike, we'll have to have you.
We're going to take it in some. I'm sorry, I drew a blank because some questions are starting to come. We're going to take some questions for you right now, and this is going to be really cool and fun.
All right.
Yeah, this is the time of the show where we're going to take in some questions for Leo. One's coming in from Buenos Aires. It says, "Hey Leo, besides Mike Marino, who is your second favorite actor you met in California?"
That's a good question. That I met?
Seth Rogen.
I met Bruce Willis one time, and he was great, man. He was like such a good guy. I was doing a stunt show at Universal Studios called Waterworld. And
No shit, you were in
I was in
Waterworld?
Waterworld, that show.
Dude, I loved Waterworld.
It's a good show, man. I did it for like 5 years.
There was a girl who lived in this building was in Waterworld.
Really?
Oh, what the hell was
I
her
probably
name?
knew
She
her.
got tattoos all over her body.
Yeah.
She was gorgeous. I'm doing a sword. She had a sword.
That was probably years ago, right? How many years? When was the tats? Oh, I know what you're talking. Audrey is her name.
No, her name wasn't Audrey. It was
Wasn't
with a
Audrey?
C. Karen. Karen.
Oh, Karen from
Yes.
back in. She was before my time.
You know Karen?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I worked on set with her once. She's
She's
very,
an
very
MMA
athletic.
girl.
Yeah, she's athletic as shit. She's
Holy
cool.
shit.
Anyway, so I did Waterworld, and I got. That's how I kicked off a lot of my career, to be honest, because I started getting like these stunt acting gigs and shit, and that was good stuff. But yeah, that was. So the second, I would say Bruce Willis, man, and it's sad what's happening to him right now, but he was really nice in real life. He shook my hand and talked to me about the show for a little bit. He was a cool guy, man. It's just sad that he has like aphasia and he's like kind of has like early onset Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Bruce Willie.
I remember going up to Universal though and seeing all those shows.
Mhm.
It was like the greatest. That must have been so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Weren't
Like
you ever
3,000
afraid you were
people.
going to get killed?
I mean, yeah, man. A lot of people had some really bad injuries, but you signed your life away. But it was decent pay, and it was also like a lot of fun. So I didn't.
So in the World show, who were you?
I was the big lug that drove that boat and had like the hammer fight.
The hammer fight.
The
I
hammer
remember
fight.
this
Yeah.
shit.
I would.
man.
I had the big hammer fight. That was
Everybody jumping in the water, the
Mhm.
jet skis running over each
Mhm.
other. Oh man! So did you do the jet ski thing? Did you
amazing.
jump off the tower?
I would. My biggest stunt was just driving the boat in that big hammer fight, and I would just fall into the water. So it was a good gig, but you had to be like over 6'3" and a big dude. So that's how I got it. It was just the size was how I got it, but it was a great gig at the time.
Wow! Excuse me. Bless you. from Brooklyn to Boca. Hi, how you doing? It's nice to see you. That's our friend Sharon Pfeiffer, who's doing a really cool play called Brooklyn to Boca in Florida. I want to do a nice big shout out to some of our friends who gave us some gifts. Before I forget, I know this is from Anna Dre. She made this hat for me.
That's cool.
And she has a company called Upcycle Creations. You can follow her here, also on Instagram. And I just got this one, who was brought over to me tonight from my producer Tatiana.
Wow.
And she went and got a beautiful facial before she came over here. She got it at a place. What is the name of the facial joint?
Her name is Renee Lynn.
Renee Lynn, thank you so much for giving us this hat. I really, really appreciate this. I'm going to have Uncle Tommy wear this hat and do something really funny. Maybe he'll talk about how he never got a facial in his entire life because that's not what men do. And here comes another question for you. This is from Magdalena in Canada. What show did you enjoy starring the most in?
Probably not a show, but a commercial I did. It was a baseball commercial where it was an actor. I'm forgetting his name right now. It was a Bud Light commercial, and they rented all at Dodger Stadium. And I was the catcher. And it was an actor. He was throwing a Bud Light at me, and I was catching it in Dodger Stadium in a Dodger uniform. So that was pretty cool as a baseball player.
Yes.
To experience that. That was probably the most fun. Otherwise, probably Black Jesus. I played like a Fabio type character with an accent, and I would one of my main lines was Bruno Fox anything, and that was really hilarious to work with. It was all like an all black cast, and then me, and it was like they were just cracking jokes the whole time. So that was a great set to work on. Black Jesus, season 3. I'm in episode 10.
Well, speaking of Fabio, that you
Fabio,
brought that up, do you know him?
I met him once at a sushi restaurant in Studio City, and we have the same hair and the same. I feel like the look in general. He kind of looks a little like me, or I look like him. And he made a career out of it, though. I know that he has a big house in Woodland Hills because my buddies say that they live in the same neighborhood. And Fabio was just, he made a career of being that guy. The commercials, and the
book covers.
book covers, yeah. I've never done a romance novel though. He worked harder than me. He was really just buff, I'm just like a big.
And he's from another country, right?
Yeah, he's from.
Was he from Italy?
He's not from Italy. He's from, actually, you know what? He might have been from Italy. He has a really thick accent though. I feel like it's kind of a Scandinavian country. I'm not sure.
If you don't know who we're talking about, this guy was pretty popular, I would say, in the 90s.
I cannot believe
early
it's not
2000s.
butter.
Yes.
I cannot believe it's not butter. Guy.
And he was also doing the cover of those romance novels.
Yeah.
He didn't really do anything. He just took his picture.
Right.
And you do resemble him.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of sketches on The Tonight Show. And there's a sketch on The Tonight Show, and in rehearsals, I got to meet Fabio. And the joke was, I say to Jay Leno, I want to see a blonde, big-chested model. And he goes,
God.
okay. And then Fabio comes out and sits on my lap. And that was the
shit.
joke. Funny enough, he blew the joke while we were live. And Jay says, what did you want? What would make you happy? And I said, I want a big, blonde, big-chested model to sit on my lap. And then Jay said, what is it? And I'm like, big-chested blonde model. And then Fabio comes out and he sits on my lap, gets a big round of applause.
It was a big laugh regardless, right?
It worked, and it was funny. I just remember him having really bad breath, and I'm like, get off
No way.
get off my lap.
Well, yeah, he's just a big man.
He was huge. I looked like a little toy.
That's funny.
But it was nice to actually meet all these people.
Nowadays, I don't even know if you
sketches.
could do that joke nowadays. You know what I mean? They'd be like, well, what if he
I think he said
identifies...
big-chested blonde model. I wanted a big...
Right now, now they would have been like, well, how do you know that Fabio doesn't identify as a big-chested blonde woman? Yeah, you can't do that joke.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It is.
Comedy is having a hard time
right now.
but we're going to bring it back.
We're bringing
all
it
gonna
back.
be doing a lot of great stuff. Listen, we got to get going. I had a lot of fun hanging around with Leo here tonight. Say your whole name, the whole thing. You said 2 middle names.
Leandro Fabian Dottavio Martinez. That's my full name, but it's just Leandro Dottavio, or you can find me on social media with usually or on Google stuff with Leo Dottavio. It's kind of my stage name, but I go by Leandro Dottavio on set still. Yeah.
And this show,
May 15th,
which is next
this Sunday.
Tuesday.
No, is it this Sunday? I think it's this Sunday, man.
And you say you're running the show. It's your show.
Yeah, it's my show. So
who do you got in the show?
We got. My phone's here. The lineup isn't set yet, actually, but
Cool.
We're setting it today or close to today.
Hey, real
Check it
quick, just one of our friends just wrote in just right now, and I know you got to say hello to her. This is Jacqueline Marfuji. Jacqueline, hello. Do you know Jacqueline?
I know Jacqueline.
Yes,
I'm on
of
a
course.
show. I'm on the Dime Show with her tonight, actually.
Holy shit. All right, so where's the Dime Show?
The Dime Show is.
She's saying hello. Hey, ciao.
It's in Los Angeles. It's on Fairfax. It's at the Dime. If you look up the Dime on Fairfax in LA, you'll find it.
All right, fantastic. All right. Folks, we had a lot of fun live from our mother's basement tonight. Make sure you stay in touch with us wherever you go, whatever you do. We're on iTunes, Google, Spotify, Anchor, Italian American Radio New York City. You can watch it on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, websites, Twitter, LinkedIn, Patreon. I never really get anything out of Patreon. You on Patreon?
I have like 40 people that I follow that pay like a little bit of a subscription, but it's not great. So.
Well, you can watch this whenever you want. Just go to my YouTube channel at Mike Marino, live on all social media. I want to thank my producer, Tatiana Bluchel, for always helping us make this podcast go great and helping us with everything that we do. We got to get going. Remember, let's make America Italian again. The motto is, you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing.
That's right.
And how do I end every single one of my broadcasts? By always saying the same thing. Ready? Don't take no shit from nobody. Good night. Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying watching my podcast live from my mother's basement. We're having a lot of fun and I'm going to have a lot of great guests on the show in the future. So if you like it, hit like. You could also leave a comment. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch other funny videos. And you could also listen to my podcast on your favorite podcast app like Spotify and iTunes.